Hey everyone, it's Zach from ZatchPoint. Today I'm going to be going through my 61 Platinum trophies on my PlayStation account. It's been over 10 years since I started trophy hunting or collecting trophies. So let's start chronologically. I'll give my recommendations on which games were worth the Platinum, which ones were entertaining, which ones to stay away from if you're not dedicated. So to start off with, this is I got my PS Vita back in 2012. So a lot of these games I played when I was very small. So the first Platinum trophy that I got was SpongeBob HeroPants. So this one I actually have a pretty good story behind. So this game actually came out at the same time as the SpongeBob movie, SpongeBob Sponge Out of Water. So I actually purchased this game the same day that my friends and I went to the theater to watch the movie. Would I actually recommend this game? Absolutely not. I mean, it's a kid's game. It's not, that fun. It's pretty much like just a basic platforming game that, even like a very, small child, playing a game for the first time could probably do. The next one, if I scroll up a little bit more, J-Star's Victory vs. Plus. So this was a game that I was actually looking forward to for a long time. I believe it had came out in Japan quite a bit before it was released in North America and the other countries on the in the West. So basically this is like an arena brawler with different Shonen Jump characters. It came out a long time before Jump Force came out. So a lot of very popular characters from Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Gintama. A lot of other animes are in this game. I wouldn't say it's a very good game to try and get the Platinum on. There's a lot of grind behind it. You end up having to beat the entire story mode 4 different times over, and then you have to do like a gauntlet of different battles. But you can't just complete the gauntlet. There's like 3 routes in each area in the gauntlet, which require you to fight through the same areas multiple times over and do the same battles multiple times over, just to be able to get those trophies. That's why it's kind of rare, 2.1%. Not many people are willing to go through that level of grind. Goat Simulator is when I actually started, trying to get into completing my games completely. So it was actually a friend and I that were competing on who could platinum this game first. So we kind of just lost our minds at that time, and a lot of people, I believe the hardest trophy in this is like you're playing a version of Flappy Bird within the game, and you have to reach a specific score in order to get the trophy, which frustrates a lot of people trying to go for this one. I'd say this is a fun game though. I had fun playing it. The next one, we can ignore the My Name is Mayo Platinum trophies. That's from my friend and I, after competing in Goat Simulator, we went for these ones. I had a PS Vita in addition to a PS4, so we were able to get both trophies there. The next one after that I got is Nioh, which is quite a big difficulty, a big spike in difficulty compared to the previous one. This was a game that I was looking forward to for a long time. Seeing like a Dark Souls action RPG type of game with a lot of Japanese mythological creatures that you see in anime, and was definitely something very appealing to me. And I was looking forward to it from the first time the trailers dropped. So I made my dad drive me over to a GameStop the day before this released, so I could pre-order it and get the pre-order bonus for this. And then I went back the next day and got it, and I pretty much just played the game non-stop for a few months before getting this Platinum trophy. It's definitely a very fun game. 2.8%, so it's pretty rare too. The next one, I didn't get the Platinum trophy on Nioh 2. I might end up getting it a bit later. So moving on to the Zero Escape series. This was actually my favorite game in general before Elden Ring was released. So I don't know, it's just something about the way that this narrative is told. I don't want to spoil too much about it, but it follows a visual novel type of genre game design, while having escape rooms built into it. So you move from novels explaining the lore and dialogue, and then you move into escape rooms where you have to escape pretty difficult puzzles in order to move forwards. And there's a large lore about what happened to the world outside, because all the characters have been kidnapped by a specific entity and placed into this kind of concrete covered area, so they don't really know where they are. So the idea is to try and escape from these areas. So this Zero Escape the Nonary Games has the first two games. Zero Time Dilemma has the third and final entry. Definitely a game that I'd recommend. The developer behind this game is called Kotaro Uchikoshi. So he's one of my favorite developers. He almost never misses with the types of games that he creates. So he also created this game called AI the Somnium Files, which is currently on its third entry. Unfortunately, the third entry is not being released for PlayStation, so you'd have to get it on Steam. But the first and second entry were pretty good. It follows the same kind of format as Zero Escape. However, it's more so investigative instead of escape rooms. You're trying to investigate crime scenes and lead yourself towards finding the culprit behind a series of crimes that are being committed within the city. So it's definitely one of the top games that I've played. Catherine Full Body. So this is actually within my top 5 favorite games that I've played on PlayStation. This is a sort of remake of Catherine on PS3 that came out around, like, I want to say 2013, around that time period. Definitely before the PS4 was released. That adds in a third interest. Pretty much the basis behind this game is that you are a person who is stuck inside a nightmare every night, and it's a 3D platformer, and you have to get to the top of this series of blocks by pushing and pulling blocks into staircases in order to lead yourself to the top of the tower. And the reason why he's stuck in this nightmare to begin with is because he has not been, I guess, faithful to his girlfriend. So it's like a tale of infidelity, and whoever falls off the tower in the nightmares dies in real life, and it's happening to multiple people within the game. So it's a very complex story, and it asks you questions that you have to make choices between, but it's kind of like it's asking you as a player these questions, and there's different endings for the game, and then by the end of the game you kind of see where your choices got you, and you can kind of like reflect on yourself, like if you're happy with how you ended up, or if you need to make changes in your life. But besides that, the gameplay was just addicting. I think I'm like top 50 or top 100 players in the world, I think, just because one of the trophies is so difficult. It took me like 16 days to do. It's a completely like artificially generated structure that you have to climb up over the course of like 20 minutes or so. That's very difficult, and you can't just look up a YouTube video as a guide. So you need to have actual skill to platinum the game, which is why the platinum percentage is so low at 0.5%. Moving on, Yakuza. I have a few Yakuza platinums. I can get into them a little bit later. A lot of the older Yakuza games, I don't think they're worth playing, as they're a little bit too grindy. They ask you to do a lot of things that are just not fun to do. Persona 5 Royal and all of the spin-offs. I actually liked Persona 5 Royal. I believe it's one of the top JRPGs that Atlus has created, or just in general. One thing I don't like about the Persona series is that a large portion of the gameplay is monotonous, like regular day life activities. Like, so you go through these dungeons and you try to, I guess, kind of defeat people in real life that are committing crimes. but the other half is just you're spending time like doing quizzes and spending time with friends, spending time with random people on the street. And I mean, if you're already doing that in real life, it kind of just it feels like a chore to do. So this is why I personally prefer the Shin Megami Tensei series over Persona. My second favorite game of all time is Shin Megami Tensei V, that recently got ported to PlayStation 5 last year. It was my game of the year of last year, and I can get into that a little bit later. Moving on, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. So this is an Atlus game that wasn't really developed by an Atlus developing studio. It was created by Vanillaware, who usually publishes their games under Atlus. This is another game. It gave me a lot of Zero Escape vibes. It's pretty much a strategy or tower defense type game. I usually hate those types of games, but because of the narrative and the way that you can interact with the characters and the branching story paths, and different like just the branching story paths, like they're able to convey a story in ways that a linear story is not able to. Just being able to see, you know, multiple endings of where your choices can take you, and then those choices allowing you to reach a true ending is something that I like in my games that I play. So that's why I like 13 Sentinels, AI, the Somnium Files, Zero Escape. They're some of my favorite games. Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight. It's just another, you know, Persona spin-off. The dancing games are good, I guess. Ghost of Tsushima, there's not much to say. Most people have the platinum for Ghost of Tsushima that played. It's a very good action RPG game. One of the best. I'm looking forward to Ghost of Yote when it releases. Yakuza Like a Dragon. This was the first Yakuza game to turn into a turn-based RPG, compared to like a beat-em-up brawler type of game. I love this game. I love like pretty much every Yakuza game that comes out. The main story is serious. All of the side stories are very wacky. It can go from like a very sad atmosphere to a funny atmosphere back to a sad atmosphere, all within the span of like 5 minutes. A lot of wacky characters. The music is really good. The gameplay has always been very good. Yeah, there's not much to say. The Yakuza series has kind of become mainstream over the last few years, so you know most people are already playing these types of games. Gravity Rush 1 and Gravity Rush 2, I love these games. It's a pity what happened to the studio, Japan studio that created them, but they're definitely two games that you should try out if you haven't already. It's basically within a fantasy type of world, where you're playing a character that can manipulate gravity in order to send themselves spiraling towards different enemies that are in the air or on the floor. And there's like a large, very complex world. Even the environments were amazing. I was completely surprised playing Gravity Rush 2. The world that they've kind of designed and implemented in that game is extremely large. Like you wouldn't really expect it from, you know, like a smaller type of, you know, more niche game like this. It definitely feels like a AAA game when you play it. Moving on to this is Odin Sphere. This is a Vanillaware game that was published through Atlus. It was an okay game. I didn't love the game, but I definitely liked it enough to get the platinum on it. It's pretty much like a side-scrolling type of game. Really nice visuals. The visuals and the art style are pretty much what drew me into the game, and also because I had platinumed 13 Sentinels before. It's definitely a game. If you have nothing else to play, you know, definitely check it out. Deathmark is one of my favorite games. There's currently 3 different Deathmarks that are on PlayStation. It's a type of visual novel, horror type of game, where you have to kind of defeat like evil spirits that are trying to curse people and kill them. And then depending on how you deal with those specific ghosts, they end up killing, or you end up saving your teammates within the story. And then depending on how many people are alive at the end, you get one of the 3 different endings. So it's definitely a pretty good game. I definitely recommend it if you're into visual novels or horror types of games. There's currently Deathmark, Spirit Hunter NG, and Deathmark 2. Moving on from there, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. I think this is like one of the only games that I regret getting a platinum trophy for. This was just horrible. The gameplay was completely, fine. I guess it's a remaster of a PS2 game. You can see the percentage here is 1.7%. What can I even say about this game? So there's so much grind within this game. I think it's the grindiest game I've ever played. Even without the grind, to be able to get the platinum on this game, you need to get 6 different endings for the game. And it's not like you get to choose the ending at the end of the playthrough. So you have to make specific timed saves throughout the story in order to do partial playthroughs after completing your playthrough that you're doing right now. You have to go back, load that save, and then do like 50% of the playthrough over again. And then just make minor dialogue changes or whatever. So I had to play through the game like 6 different times, like most of them being like I had to play minimum 50% or more in order to get to the end. And then the grinding in this game is absolutely unbelievable. I think like I was doing the calculations, it would have taken me over 100 hours of fighting the same enemies in an area at near the end of the game in order to get 2 or 3 trophies. I essentially just I had to buy a $10 DLC that gives you like extra, like it gives you access to an area where you can get more DLC or more EXP. And even then I had to farm that area for like 3 to 4 hours just in order to get those trophies. So yeah, the gameplay is fine. If you just play through the game, I'm sure you'd have a great time. Platinum is absolutely not worth it. Going up, Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. It's like a fun game. I like getting the platinum on it. Catherine, I liked getting the platinum for Catherine Full Body so much I decided to do it again for the PS3 version. So I got the PS3 copy for pretty cheap and platinum the game. It was definitely faster the second time around. Moving on from there, now I'm getting into some of the Souls-likes that I've platinumed. Sekiro is made by From Software, the same creator of Dark Souls. It relies on a parry-based system, but it's still, like an action RPG type of game. The combat is very good. The story is very good. Let me just head back down to it. But yeah, it's a very good game. I believe it won Game of the Year in 2019, I think. It's pretty good. There's not much else I can say about it. Spirit Hunter NG, this is the second entry within the Deathmark series, so it's also like a pretty good game. Nier Automata, this is a highly praised game. I didn't really like this game that much. I didn't like the fact that you had to play through the game 3 different times in order to get to the true ending. The ending was kind of cool, like the true ending was kind of cool, but I personally felt like it was a slog to get there. So I mean, most people would recommend the game though. I just personally did not have as much fun with it. Scarlet Nexus is one of my favorite games that came out on PS5. This game has, I believe, the best utilization of the DualSense triggers that I've seen in any game that I've played so far. If you start on the girls route, you get to choose between 2 different protagonists. If you choose the girl, she primarily uses like telekinesis based attacks, and you use the triggers in order to pull stuff and throw stuff at the enemies, and you get to feel the trigger resistance every time you do that. So it's very, and even during the executions that you do when someone gets to low health or you stagger them, you feel that like a crazy amount of trigger resistance whenever you pull the button. So this was just very fun. The story was kind of meh, but the gameplay and the music were amazing. Persona 5 Strikers, I really like this game. There's one specific trophy that I would not recommend for anyone to do, and I believe the exploit that you could do to get that trophy is not possible anymore. So if you just like to play through the story, then it's perfectly fine. To get the platinum, I wouldn't recommend it. Elden Ring, I was looking forward to this game for a long time. I pretty much platinumed the game within a week once I got it. One of the best games of all time. Same with the DLC that was released recently, Shadow of the Erdtree. It was just amazing. It consumed another week of my life when it came out. There's not much else to say there. Nirvana Initiative, this is the second game in the the Somnium Files series, so I definitely recommend playing it. Even if you're not into visual novel games, the story, the branching paths, the gameplay of like investigation elements, they're all top notch. Ghost of Tsushima PS5 version. So I believe this is the only auto pop trophy that I have. I got this auto pop because the Iki Island DLC came out, and I was not gonna play on the inferior version just to avoid having an auto pop trophy. So this is pretty much like I got the Iki Island story expansion DLCs done. This was amazing. It's just an amazing game. The graphics on PS5 are phenomenal. It really feels like you're inside of the game when you're there. I don't know if that's how the island in Japan in real life looks, but like even through like a screen, if you have an OLED TV as well, the deep blacks, the vibrant colors, it looks amazing. Moving on, Soul Hackers 2. This is created from Atlus, so it takes the Persona 5 and Shin Megami Tensei like the recruitable teammates that you use. It uses the same teammates for this game. The story is slightly different. You play as an AI. The game wasn't really that good. I have a lot of complaints with the game of when it first came out, but they seem to have addressed a lot of those issues with the following updates. So I wouldn't feel right, going through all of my complaints that I had at the beginning. To put it like simply, there was no sprint button. So to sprint, you had to use an ability, and to get that ability, you had to progress through the game up to a specific point to unlock that sprint ability. So every like 30 seconds or so, you have to reapply sprint. Then without telling you that it's not possible on the first new game playthrough to completely finish every dungeon. I like pretty much did like some of the worst. It has some real like terrible dungeon design, but I got to the 4th out of 5th dungeon for all 3 of the characters, before realizing like you can't get to the 5th dungeon. So I had to replay those 4 dungeons again, and they're really complicated, like warps, conditional warps, like that take you to different areas when you go through them. It was just a frustrating game to play through. They might have fixed it since I played it, but would I recommend playing it? Yeah, sure. Would I recommend the platinum? Probably not. Demon Souls, I really like this game. I would not have liked this game if I did not use cloud saves to save before the boss fights, because it took me like maybe like 2 or 3 tries to beat each of the bosses. In this game, there's no like bonfires that are close by towards the bosses, so you have to pretty much run through the entire level again to get to the boss. And some areas you really do not want to do that. There's also like online elements and like world tendency that you need to keep in mind. I personally did not have much difficulty with that, because I was just invading other people that were playing to be able to get my my character's tendency into the negative. So it was a pretty simple platinum for me. Moving on to the next, Chained Echoes. This is a 2D like JRPG style game. You pretty much like follow a group of people as they try to I believe save their empire or save their people from this threat. So it's like a standard adventure story where you're playing a group of heroes. I really like this game. The dialogue is funny, the gameplay is good, the story was really good too. a lot of like different hidden things to find in the game. It was very fun. Lost Judgment. I don't have the platinum for the first Judgment game. This is made by RGG Studio, the same creators of the Yakuza series, except it hasn't gone turn-based, so this is still a beat 'em up brawler. Lost Judgment, I believe, is the best game they've made in terms of the brawler style of gameplay. I definitely recommend it. Although there was like a bit of grind in this game, it was more modern in its grind compared to the older Yakuza entries, so it was still fun to do this game. Maybe I can find like a clip for each of the newer games that I played. Moving on, don't even try to get the platinum on Like a Dragon Ishin unless you have fallen into insanity. What Remains of Edith Finch? It's a pretty short game, maybe like I forget if it's 2 or 4 hours, but it's like a simple exploration type of game, where you're kind of going through like a fantastical looking house, but it's exploring like the traumas of different characters that had lived in the house before. I didn't really like this game that much, but it was an interesting experience. Final Fantasy XVI, this is a great action game. I really like the story in this game, the gameplay in this game, the PS5 like performance. Some people were having issues with it, as when it goes into the gameplay portions, it uses 720p upscaled to a decent resolution just to be able to continue hitting the frame rate targets. But yeah, the story was phenomenal, the graphics were amazing, the combat was good. It was my first Final Fantasy game that I've ever played, but it's definitely, you know, made me into a Final Fantasy fan. I'd probably look at the future entries that come out. Moving on to Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3. It actually took me 7 years to get the platinum for Dark Souls 3. I believe this is one of the first games I've ever played. Yeah, like my first trophy in it was like not November, like May of what is that, 2016, or is that November? I can't tell. Yeah, okay, it is May of 2016. But yeah, I got the first ending, and I decided to go back and play the game in November of 2023. Thankfully, there was still some people playing online, so it wasn't as much of a grind for me as it is for some other people. A lot of the complaints that people have with Dark Souls 3 is that you have to grind items for specific covenants in order to get specific spells and rings that you need for the all spells and all rings trophies. But if you're invading people, you don't really need to worry about that. You can just have fun invading people in Anor Londo or any of the other like PvP areas. I believe it should still be active in case anyone wants to try online instead of grinding for like tens of hours for Covenant items, killing the same few enemies with like a 1% drop chance. I don't even think it's 1% drop chance. It definitely felt lower than that. Bloodborne was also very good. You know, like a fun fact is I actually did not do any of the side quests when I played through Bloodborne, or even do all of the Chalice dungeons. All I did was just the main story, and then you're able to use glyph codes near the underground, not underground, the graveyard Chalice area. You're able to use specific codes to open up specific dungeons, and using those dungeons I was able to get a lot of the weapons and other stuff that you need that you would have only been able to get from the NPC side quests. So at least for me, this was a really easy platinum. Like a Dragon Gaiden, I love this game. Yeah, not to spoil too much about it, it's one of the last games that have Kiryu as the main character within the Yakuza series, as they moved on to a new protagonist. Raging Loop, this was actually a very good visual novel that I played. Not much interactive gameplay elements to it. It follows the werewolf game, which is, if you're familiar with it, it might originate in Japan, but it's about like two imposters within a group of people. The imposters are killing off the regular group members like night by night, and every day you have to vote for who you think the werewolf is, and whoever you vote for, regardless of whether they're the werewolf or not, they get they get sentenced to being removed. So it's like a very high stakes game, and then by the end you'll see if you voted for the werewolves correctly or not. Moving on to Wolong Fallen Dynasty. I'm a big fan of Chinese novels and Chinese animation. Like novels like Lord of the Mysteries recently got an anime adaptation, Reverend Insanity, and a lot of like other like Chinese Wuxia and Jianjia novels. So this was definitely appealing to me because a lot of the enemies are Chinese mythological beasts or people within Chinese historical fiction. So this was definitely a fun type of game. The DLCs were very difficult. I decided to get 100% across the 3 DLCs as well. The final boss of the 3rd DLC was amazing. That it was crazy. I believe I have the boss fight up on the channel if you scroll, in my videos a little bit. But yeah, this was a great game. I'd rate it like a 7.5 out of 10. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. This was one of the newer Yakuza games. I believe it came out last year, February. This was great. It had the new protagonist and Kiryu as protagonists. It wraps up a lot of the loose ends or loose connections that the previous game had. The story was great. The combat, I liked the one in the previous entry a little bit more, but it was still good. Lots of different like wacky types of enemies, subs and side stories that you could play through. This was the 3rd entry in the Deathmark series, so it was very good. Definitely recommend the series. Unicorn Overlord. This is a strategy type of game where you have to raid like enemy bases and destroy their base in order to clear the level. It was made by Vanillaware, published through Atlus. It's a good game. I usually don't play games like this as I don't really find them entertaining, but this was an exception. The game was good, the story was good, the art style is amazing. Moving on to Stellar Blade. This is a Soulslike or action RPG game that came out from a Korean developing studio, I believe last year. The story was okay. The visuals were great. The character looks nice. A lot of the enemy boss fights were amazing. It's kind of like Sekiro, where you have to parry or perfect dodge a lot of the enemies, a lot of the attacks that go your way. So it's definitely a skill-based game, and it was very fun. Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance. I've been waiting for a port for this game since 2021. It was the only reason I had purchased a Nintendo Switch, to play this one game, and besides like Ring Fit Adventure, I never touched the Switch again. This game was absolutely amazing. Even the base game, when it came out on Switch, it was great. Like, I felt it was like 10 times better than Persona 5. There's no social link section of the game. There's no doing quizzes. There's no doing school life. There's no catching up with random people. There's no spending time with people. Well, there is, but it's not as much of a hindrance to your play time or your gameplay, trying to experience the story of the game. It's almost like pure action all the time. Action, exploration, very nice character design. This game, I believe, if I just quickly check the percentage, 3.3%. It was kind of like a pain to get the platinum trophy, as you need to play through the game 6.25 times in order to get all of the endings on the same save file, so that you can do all of the virtual trainer battles that only appear after you have all of the clear files clear saves on the same file. But I didn't mind it at all. This was a great game. It was my game of the year of 2024, more so than every other game that I played. It was amazing. This is my 50th platinum trophy. I made sure it was the 50th. Then I platinumed the 3 Uncharted games. I love Uncharted. Each of these games took only like 10 hours to do, so they're pretty simple. You just got to play on crushing difficulty. I didn't really have to look up a guide or anything. It's pretty simple. Even in the hard sections, it should only take you like maybe 10 to 20 tries. And I hadn't played like a third-person shooter or first-person shooter in a long time. But they're great. Very, very good like adventure shooter based games with really good stories, lots of good exploration, lots of lore into some of the different, fictional treasure areas and fictional areas in real life. Moving on to Astro's Playroom. I don't know why it took me so long to get the platinum for Astro's Playroom. This is the game that comes with the PS5. It's a good demo though. It should take less than 5 hours. I just had no motivation to play this to platinum it until recently. I wouldn't recommend getting the platinum for any of the Crash Bandicoot games, unless you have like a lot of time to spare and you're fine with losing some of your hair. But I at least got all 4 of them to the 65 to 70% mark. Metaphoria Fantasio, it's made by Atlus. It was one of the contenders for Game of the Year last year. I'm missing one trophy that requires me to play the game again on New Game Plus to be able to defeat a New Game Plus exclusive boss. And I just haven't had the time to do it yet. So eventually in the future I'll do it. Learn Hiragana. This is kind of like a shovelware type of game. It was just $1. I had it in my library. It was like 99 cents actually, I think. But it's just you guess or not guess. You try and answer, what hiragana sound is being described, which is one of the 3 scripts that they use in Japan. So I had been studying like hiragana because I was going to Japan with my friend that week, and the day before I went to Japan, I got the platinum for this. Did this help at all in understanding the language when I get there? Absolutely not. Most of the signage in Japan is kanji, so even if you know hiragana and katakana, you still wouldn't be able to understand anything. I met someone there. He said he had been living in Japan for maybe like 3 years, I think, and he knows all of hiragana and katakana. He still can't read most of the signage anywhere in the country, besides like basic kanji. So I mean it's definitely very difficult. I'd have to study a lot more. Sonic Frontiers, this was an okay game. I liked the Sonic franchise. I recently went to see Sonic 3 last year in theaters. It's a good game. The story was okay. The open world combat was pretty cool too. It was an okay game. It was like 7 to 8 out of 10 type of game. Balatro, I'm very close to getting the platinum. I just have the last 2 trophies to get. Persona 3 Reload, this was a fun game. I recently got the DLC completed as well. It's essentially like the same thing as Persona 5. The same kind of thing where you're balancing dungeon exploration, boss fights, as well as real life interacting with people, doing quizzes and stuff. Again, I don't really like the social aspect of the game. However, the gameplay was good, the story was good. The DLC was okay, but overall a really good game. Urban Myth Dissolution Center. This game doesn't have a platinum, but I got the 100% on it recently. It's a pretty good visual novel where you're investigating different like crime scenes in order to find who is behind like paranormal activity going on in different areas of the city, and how it like all connects into one specific plot. So it's a pretty good game. Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. A lot of people didn't like this game. I love this game. You're playing as a pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Ship combat. You're playing as one of my favorite characters, Majima. He's like the crazy character in Yakuza. It's like a really like funny plot. He loses his memory and is trying to find the ultimate treasure of the seas in order to like cure somebody's illness. It was a great game. The story was phenomenal. The side quests were wacky, goofy. The story gets very serious at times. It was just a great game. Moving on, Astro Bot. Astro Bot was amazing. I believe I still have a few of the new levels that were released this week or last week to do. But yeah, they were great. I loved all of the different references in Astro Bot. A lot of the games, if you've been playing PlayStation for a long time, you'll notice a lot of the characters that pop up whenever you defeat or get through a level. when you rescue them, although there's not, they don't specifically tell you the name of the characters, by the outfit you can tell exactly who it is. And then within like the main kind of hub where all of your rescued PlayStation characters are, when you hit them, they do like a special animation unique to the game that they're in. So it's just a really good platformer, very vibrant colors, great level design, a lot of great nostalgia as well through the characters. Just a phenomenal game. It's no wonder that it won Game of the Year last year. The first Berserker Khazan, this was a great Soulslike. I believe this is also from a Korean developer team. This is a Souls-like where you're playing as a character from the King of Fighters franchise, I believe, which is a popular game in Korea mainly. It's a great game. A lot of the same kind of Souls-like aspects where you have to parry, perfect dodge, really time your attacks carefully, or else you get like 2 to 3 shot by whatever bosses you're facing. One of the trophies to get the platinum was that you have to play through the game without summoning like an NPC to help you. So to get the platinum, it's definitely like a skill intensive task. But yeah, this was just a great game. The story was great, the cutscenes were great. I have a lot of the boss fights on my channel, you can check them out if you're interested. Master Detectives Archives Rain Code. This is from the same creator as the Danganronpa series. So this is pretty good. I tend, as you can tell, to only really platinum games that I enjoy. So this was a great game. I like the Danganronpa series. I wouldn't get the platinum on Danganronpa because some of the trophies are just a slog, like a grind. But it's not even like in an action game, so the grind is like, it's 10 times worse than regular grind. But in Master Detective Archives, it was a simple, you're kind of going through the story, you're investigating crime scenes for specific murders, you're trying to find the ultimate secret within a city, and in solving different murder cases, you're getting closer to the ultimate secret. And when you finally find out the secret, it's like the entire story comes together into a cohesive whole. But yeah, it's just a great game, and it came out for PS5 after being limited to the Switch for around 2 years, so the graphics definitely got a huge upgrade. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, this quickly became one of my favorite games. I believe it's going to win Game of the Year for this year in 2025. This was a great game. There's not a single aspect in which this game is not a good game. The platinum trophy is worth it for sure. A lot of the music I have saved to my phone for use in the gym. The gameplay was amazing. It's turn-based, however there's a parry system similar to the Yakuza Like a Dragon series. So it's fun. It gets intense. If you don't play well, you can easily lose. I guess my only complaint would be it gets too easy in the third act. There's 3 acts in the game, and during the third act it gets extremely easy. You can pretty much one-shot everything. But yeah, even without that, the story was amazing. I was really surprised by the story. Like when you first get into it, you're kind of blown away by the graphics, but yeah, like even someone who's like played a lot of games, like you've consumed a lot of media in your life or very quickly within a short period of time, you can appreciate the story that was crafted here. It's definitely amazing. Then moving on from there, Elden Ring Nightreign. I love this game too. I played mainly with randoms. I did a few solo runs that you could probably see the boss fights on my channel. But mainly, like pretty much what I was doing was after I did like a multiplayer expedition with people, I just send them a friend request if we won. So I added like 20 to 30 friends just from like playing with randoms on this game, and a lot of the bosses I did with like a specific group of randoms that I made friends with from just doing like a random expedition to begin with. The game is great. It took me between 35 to 40 hours to finish. If you're skilled, you could probably do it a little bit quicker, or if you're playing with a group of people that you're on voice chat with, you can probably do it a little bit quicker, because it's not always reliable that you're going to be matched with people of similar skill level or with the same idea of what to do first in the run. But yeah, this was great. most of the night bosses, which are the bosses at the end of the expeditions, were great. Yeah, it was definitely worth the money. Then Liza P. This is the most recent videos I have on my channel. Besides Elden Ring Nightreign, I played through the DLC that came out. It was great. I really like Liza P. One mistake I made when platinuming this game was that I made the mistake of following a collectibles guide a little bit too closely, which by the end of the game I kind of didn't even like the game that much. And it turned out that most of the things in the collectible guide were not even necessary for the platinum. So I feel like I was kind of cheated there. So with the DLC, I didn't look at a collectible guide at all, and I had a lot more fun playing through the game. But yeah, it was a great game. The visuals are amazing. The story of like Pinocchio in an action game hasn't been done yet, I believe. So this was, you know, like a very interesting, unique take on an alternate version of a popular kid story. So this was just great. And then I'm working personally on the Raido remastered platinum trophy. I haven't been able to play this for like a month as I've been doing like home renovations, but I'm probably gonna get back to it soon. But yeah, that goes through my 61 platinum trophies. I hope you got a little about, you know, which ones are worth it, which ones I felt were worth playing through. Most of the platinum trophies that I have, I felt were worth playing through and getting the platinum. I don't really tend to play games for very long that I personally don't enjoy. I tend to go for like specific developers before purchasing a game, unless it's in a genre that I really like Souls-like games. Yeah, if you played any of the games that I mentioned here, definitely like the video. I'm going to be uploading some full platinum trophy journeys, different tips and guides, tricks, maybe some meme edits of different trophies. The next video is going to be probably maybe a few boss or trophy guides for Wuchang Fallen Feathers, and then I'm going to release a full platinum trophy journey video for it. And then afterwards I'm going to take a look at some more niche games. So I recently won Ashura's Wrath for PS3 on an eBay auction, so I'm probably going to release a platinum journey video for that game, as well as Sonic Unleashed for the PS3. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing like struggles of someone platinuming Souls-like games, JRPGs, visual novels with interactive elements, action RPGs, etc., definitely subscribe for more content, and I'll see you again next time. I hope you got something out of this.